Dear viewers, today we are bringing back one of the most beloved tales from our childhood, a story filled with magic, jealousy, kindness, and true love. So sit back, relax, and let's journey together into the enchanted world of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Once upon a time, there was a vast kingdom, lies under an endless area of snow, a tranquil scene of winter's embrace. Snowflakes dance softly from the heavens, each a delicate brushstroke in a serene winter portrait. The kingdom is hushed beneath the snow, its silence increases its greatness. The castle's shadow is sharply defined against the soft, diffused light of the winter day. In the heart of winter, the queen sits in her chamber, a vision of beauty tinged with shadow. Snow falls gently, a stark contrast to the hidden turmoil within her. A moment of sharp pain, the prick of a needle, draws 3 drops of blood. Red droplets fall, staining the pristine snow with a sign of things to come. The queen's chamber is silent. The fire crackles softly in the hearth. Outside the frosted windows, snow falls, blanketing the world in white. The queen stands in the center of the room, her face pale. Oh, if only I had a daughter with skin as white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as black as ebony. Her voice echoes in the stillness of the chamber. The fire continues to crackle, a lonely sound in the vast, snow-covered world. Her prayers were listened, and in the middle of winter, a baby girl enters the world, her skin as white as snow, her lips as red as blood, and her hair as black as ebony. She is named Snow White, a name whispered with adoration and hope. The queen smiles upon her newborn child, yet a flicker of shadow darkens her gaze. The queen's eyes betray a hidden unease, a secret sign of what is to come. After a few days, the queen fell ill and couldn't recover back and died. In the frozen depths of the royal tomb, a gloomy funeral unfolds, casting long shadows across the ornate carvings. Grief hangs heavy in the air as the king stands tall beside the ornate coffin, his face filled with sorrow. Young Snow White trembles in the cold, her small heart unable to contain the overwhelming sorrow. Her tear-filled eyes reflect the reality of the queen's eternal slumber. The cold of the tomb mirrors the icy grip of death, a chilling reminder of the void left by the queen's departure. Days passes, sunlight floods the throne room, highlighting dust motes swirling in the air like tiny stars. King Alaric got remarried, stands tall, his presence commanding, yet a shadow of unease flickers in his eyes. Beside him stands Queen Isabella, her beauty undeniable, yet her eyes hold a chilling emptiness. Her beauty shines, yet her eyes remain cold, untouched by warmth or compassion. Her posture is stiff, radiating an aura of superiority that feels unearned and unsettling. A cold stillness settles over the scene, promising hidden depths and unspoken tensions. In the queen's chamber, the queen stands, a figure of challenging royalty before a magical mirror. The mirror's frame, adorned with intricate carvings and shimmering jewels, reflects ancient magic. Her voice echoes in the chamber as the queen poses her timeless question. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? The mirror responds, its voice resonating with ancient power. You, my queen. The queen stands silently, absorbing the mirror's response, her expression unreadable. Years later, in the queen's chamber, light dances through the tall windows, illuminating the dust around the ornate mirror. A mixture of hope and anxiety filled the queen's face as the mirror shimmers. The queen's voice echoes in the chamber. "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror responds, its voice chilling. "You are fair, but Snow White is fairer than you." The queen's eyes blaze with envy as the mirror's words cut through her. In the grand throne room, the queen embodies cold authority, seated regally on her ornate throne. The royal huntsman stands before her, his face a mask of unreadable resolve. The queen's command slices through the silence. "Take the girl into the forest." The royal huntsman remains still, absorbing the weight of the queen's deadly order. The throne room echoes with the unspoken implications of a life. Her chilling directive continues, "And make sure she never returns." The huntsman guides Snow White deeper into the ominous forest, shadows enveloping them. Snow White's fear grows with each step into the heart of the darkening woods. The huntsman stops, drawing his dagger, the steel glinting in the dim light. The huntsman's resolve falters, his hand trembling as he hesitates. In the heart of the forest, the huntsman's face is a canvas of inner turmoil as he confronts Snow White. A subtle nod, a silent agreement passes between them, heavy with unspoken words. With a gesture of release, he sets her free into the wilderness. The huntsman urges, "Run, child, run and hide." In the fading light of dusk, Snow White's weary figure emerges from the dense forest, each step heavy with exhaustion. Through the trees, a humble cottage beckons, its warm glow a stark contrast to the encroaching darkness. Hope flickers in Snow White's eyes as she gazes upon the inviting scene, a silent promise of rest. The cottage stands as a sign of warmth and safety, smoke curling from its chimney into the dusky sky. Snow White cautiously steps into the dwarf's cottage, her eyes wide with fear. Inside, the cottage reveals a comforting scene. 7 tiny chairs and beds arranged neatly around a warm hearth. The warmth of the hearth gave coziness to Snow White, promising respite from the cold outside. Exhaustion washes over Snow White as she gazes at the inviting beds. Overcome with fatigue, Snow White collapses onto one of the tiny beds, surrendering to sleep. In the quiet of the cottage, Snow White slumbers peacefully, unaware of what the new day may bring. High in the mountains, the dwarves carve their existence into the stone. With each swing, the mountain echoes with the promise of hidden riches. In the heart of the mountain, their legacy is forged with every strike. The dwarves' cottage glows warmly against the night, a haven amidst the darkness. 7 tired dwarves return from the mines, their faces lined with exhaustion. Astonishment strikes the dwarves as they find Snow White asleep in their beds. With growing sympathy, the dwarves listen intently as Snow White recounts her tale. Sunlight floods the dwarves' cottage, illuminating their curious faces as they gather before Snow White. The dwarves extend an offer of sanctuary. "We offer you safety here, fair maiden. A condition is set, but in return, you must keep our home tidy." Snow White's gentle agreement hangs in the air. "I agree." An unspoken pact forms in the cozy cottage, illuminated by the warm sunlight. Before an ornate mirror, the queen's reflection warps into a haunting vision. Her eyes widen in disbelief, quickly hardening into a gaze of pure, unadulterated rage. A cruel smile graces her lips as she makes a dark decision, the air thick with anticipation. With swift, deliberate motions, she gathers vials and powders, setting in motion a sinister transformation. Her youthful beauty begins to fade, replaced by the encroaching signs of age and decay. The queen stands, now cloaked in the guise of an old woman, her deception complete. Deep in the forest, the queen, disguised as a wizened old woman, searches relentlessly. At last, Snow White's cottage emerges, a haven of innocence hidden among the ancient trees. Her heart hardens as she approaches, a delicate piece of lace clutched in her aged hand. She extends the lace, a gesture of false kindness masking her dark intent. "It's a gift, dearie," she croons, her voice dripping with deceptive sweetness. The lace shimmers deceptively in the sunlight, its beauty concealing a deadly curse. In the cozy cottage, Snow White accepts the delicate lace from the disguised queen, her smile radiant and trusting. A glint of triumph flashes in the queen's eyes as she swiftly ties the lace tightly around Snow White's waist. Suddenly, Snow White gasps, her face contorting in pain as the queen's cruel trap tightens. Snow White collapses onto the floor, her body twisting in suffering as darkness threatens to consume her. Just then, the 7 dwarves burst through the cottage door, their faces grim with worry as they witness the horrific scene. They rush to Snow White's side, their practiced hands moving swiftly to undo the queen's wicked handiwork. In the queen's chamber, fury twists the queen's face as she plots in her heart. With calculated precision, the queen prepares a poisoned comb, her movements betraying her inner turmoil. Her hands, though practiced, tremble slightly as she perfects her venomous craft. The disguise nears completion, each adjustment a step further into deception. Ready to deceive once more, the queen steels herself. A mask of false serenity descends. In the heart of the forest, the queen, masked as a frail old woman, offers Snow White a comb of exquisite beauty. Snow White, captivated by its allure, accepts the comb. As the comb graces her hair, Snow White's eyes flutter closed, and she succumbs to darkness. Snow White collapses, the comb falling from her limp hand as unconsciousness claims her. Dwarves burst onto the scene, their faces etched with worry as they rush to Snow White's side. In the opulent queen's chamber, the queen stands tall, a sinister glint sparkling in her eyes. With calculated precision, she begins preparing the poisoned apple. Her movements are deliberate, each gesture radiating pure malice. A chilling declaration escapes her lips. This will be the end of her. In the heart of the forest, an old woman's figure emerges, her face obscured by shadows. Her hand extends, offering a glistening red apple to Snow White, its surface gleaming deceptively. "One bite, my dear," she coaxes, her voice dripping with false sweetness. The apple, once a symbol of temptation, now represents a close danger cloaked in innocence. The forest holds its breath as the queen's trap is nearly set. Snow White took a bite of poisoned apple and fell down. Deep in the forest, the dwarves, their faces a mask of grief, carefully lower Snow White into a crystal coffin. The crystal coffin reflects the forest's vibrant hues, a stark contrast to the stillness within. Tenderly, they adorn her final resting place with a vibrant array of forest flowers, each petal a silent farewell. Time drifts by, the forest silent except for the rustling leaves, a somber witness to unending sorrow. Sunlight filters through the canopy, casting colorful shadows on the coffin. a beautiful reminder of life's fleeting beauty. The forest stands still, the air thick with unspoken grief, as nature itself mourns the loss of innocence. In the heart of an ancient forest, a prince threads his way through the dense trees, his regal cloak a stark contrast to the wild surroundings. His journey abruptly halts as his eyes find Snow White, still and serene within her glass coffin. He approaches, his gaze captivated by her ethereal beauty. The prince approaches the group of dwarves guarding Snow White's coffin. With a voice full of respect, the prince implores, "I beg you, good sirs, allow me to take her to my castle," he pleads. "She deserves a royal resting place." As his servants carried the coffin, they stumbled, and the piece of poisoned apple was dislodged from Snow White's throat. She awoke as if from a long dream. The prince rejoiced. Soon, Prince and Snow White were married in a grand celebration, and they lived happily ever after.